next to our cars. Riches laughing a rebel king. The cosmos chances we all say. They travel light years for the sound. Bass drum shake the alien ground. That goof on we rock. We roll, headbanging hard like we sold our soul. They've come to earth to join the band. That goof on we rock, united we
All right. Went a little long there. Welcome to Goof On, everybody. It's Tuesday, 11/25/25. That's November 25th, 2025. Welcome to Goof On Tonight. I am your host, Rish, and we are going to talk about UFOs, the paranormal, and who or what country do you trust has the best UFO researchers to date? No. Seriously, you got to think it. Look, Jacques Vallée, Jaime Maussan. You know, you got your foreigners already. There's two. Who else out there do you trust? And what country has the best UFO researchers and the worst? And I'm telling you, the U.S. has them both. That's it. Have a good night, everybody. Whoop. We do, because we have the most sightings. How you like that, huh? Do you Gatorade? Zero Gatorade? How you like that? You like that? You like that? Good. All right. Tonight we're gonna delve into that a little bit. And some UFO and paranormal news. That's right. 3i Atlas has the longest stream in the history of comets. Good for him, huh? Ah, juicy fruit. It's nice to see you here. I can't believe it. I just can't believe we're here. Well, let's see who's here, and then we'll keep going around a little more. Myra's here. Hi, Myra. Welcome to the show. Brooke is. Uno, dos, tres. Yay. How you doing? I'm out of breath. You say Anjay, the angel of Gohan. Hello, Jeanette. Hello, David Wilcox. Not Wilcox. How you doing, Chief? Welcome to this show. Good to see you. The Y is here. Brian Yates, everybody. Welcome to the show. How you doing? Samo, Goofonian Rockstar. How you doing there, Laser Breath? Good to see my right-hand man. Welcome. Lee Argentine. How you doing, Lee? Lee Fitz America. Good to see you, bro. All right. If I didn't say your name, it doesn't mean I don't love you. It means we got a lot of show to do. Bernie! How you doing, B? Welcome to the show. Ed Metalhead's here. How you doing, Chief? Sneaking through that side door. UFO 91566. Same. Welcome. Cindy Kraus. Slowcran. I guess. Slowtran. What do you say, DD55? How you doing, Dorothy? I know I am so immature. I'm not. I'm just, I don't care what people think. I say what you would actually want to do, but can't because you don't have the balls. Aussie Tiger. Good to see you. How you been, man? Happy New Year. What's up, Porky Rabbit? Are you a cop? No cop is. Welcome to the show, PY. Hey, one love from Utah. No Shiite. Interesting. Good to see Utah in the house. Good to see. So, let's get started. If I didn't say your name, doesn't mean I don't love you. I already said that. It means we got a lot of show to do. So, let's get going. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I didn't do the vertical stream, and I should have. And I understand the screen is small, but we're losing subscribers every day, so I don't want to dip under. Yeah, because YouTube takes them away from us. Well, I'm going to do one tomorrow, so maybe I'll do a show during the day, just for the hell of it. Oh, I can't. I'm doing other stuff. Thursday. Yeah, Thanksgiving morning we'll do a show on Thanksgiving. Thursday. We'll do a morning show and wish everybody or maybe an afternoon. I don't know yet. All I know is this. I can be home by 7 o'clock to do the show. But it's Thanksgiving Thursday, so I may take it off. Nah, we'll do a show. Let's get started on the official show. Okay, now, you can't get mad at me for what they're saying in the news. This is what's happening all over. I'm just going to go in here, and I'm going to go in the order that I picked all of tonight's information. Why? There's a lot of it. So, Stephen Greenstreet, you know who he is? Middle of Mayhem on X. He's also the journalist for the New York Post and covers ufology, as you guys like to say. Covers ufology in a unique way, similar to what I do here. But he has the reach of thousands upon thousands, where I have ones upon ones. So we like to see what Stephen Greenstreet is saying, because he is on the same wavelength brain length as we are. But anyway, the Fat Mord show is being talked about. Paranormal talk show host, who recently testified to Congress about UFOs, emphatically says, I'm on the Pentagon's payroll and that I work directly with and for DoD Public Affairs Officer Susan Gah to cover up space aliens. Did you hear that? I mean, that is an actual quote. Space aliens. Are you hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth?
So you've got Stephen Greenstreet, who's out there running interference by posting all of this stuff, who I would remind you worked for the former public...
Who is running truthful not interference. He's correcting the errors of the ways.
Formerly worked for Susan Goff, who is the nexus of all of the communications that happen in the Pentagon Public Affairs Office. Doesn't matter what branch of government, it all goes through Susan Goff. You've got Stephen.
Don't you find that rather interesting? Why? Why does it have to all go through? Because that's the way they set it up. There's no transparency, and they went the opposite way. The whole thing was a ruse. You think getting it to her is going to make it more public? It doesn't. It puts it in a little tunnel away from everybody, and for you to find it, you have to jump through a lot of hoops, maybe FOIA requests with specific spelling to what it is you're looking for. You won't get it. This is so bad.
Greenstreet, who used to produce...
Thank God Stephen Greenstreet points that stuff out.
Basically propaganda for Susan Goff in his previous iteration. Now he's really doing the same thing. So you've got the two former heads of the Pentagon Aero Office saying almost verbatim what this guy, who is clearly, in my opinion, on the payroll, he's doing a job. These folks are doing the exact same thing, saying the exact same things that Stephen Greenstreet is saying.
God, he is so stupid. No shit, Sherlock. Everybody lies in your field. Well, on your side. Stephen Greenstreet's not doing the same thing at all. Isn't that what he just said?
He's doing a job. These folks are doing the exact same thing, saying the exact same things that Stephen Greenstreet is saying.
No, he's not. He's saying the opposite of what they're saying because they're lying. Oh my God, this guy is really delusional, Fat Mord. Wow. Good job, Greenstreet, pointing that stuff out again and again and again and again. The hypocrisy from that side of ufology is just out of the world batshit crazy to me. It is. It really is. Let's see. All right. So I look for a lot of things to talk about that could be interesting and topical, to what's going on now. And I got this post from Mick West, and it's a clip from Age of Disclosure. Mellon and Elizondo discuss replacing oil and gas and coal, and they want to do it with clean technologies from the UFOs. And to illustrate this, they show three things which they think are UFOs but are not. A pair of sky lanterns, an A-10 Warthog, and a balloon. Let me show you real quick. These guys are just, they're just liars. And the thing is, because they don't have real UFO footage, they have to show the lanterns, the drones, and all that other stuff because they don't have anything legit. And here, take a look. This is the promotion of real UFOs that aren't real. They say they are. Check it out.
Understand the technology that we're observing. It has so many potentially beneficial impacts, including clean energy. We're seeing these craft doing unbelievable things, and it's not combustion engineering.
This is technology that could replace oil, gas, and coal.
First of all, they have absolutely zero evidence proving that this type of technology exists in these type of videos of UFOs, whatever they are. Because the reality of it is, we're looking at things that are propelled probably by electricity. They need a battery. Because I don't see the evidence telling us any differently. I really don't. And I want that to be there. I want it. But listen, the more lies.
If we can understand
Oh, that was it? Oh, 25 seconds.
the
Play it again.
technology that we're observing,
If we could back engineer, is that what he said? If we could understand the technology that we're observing. So he just admitted they don't understand it. But yet they understand enough of it that it doesn't have any propellants coming out of its ass. It doesn't poison our air. Well, my question is, how do you know? How do you know? And can you prove that to us? The answers are they don't know and they can't answer. So everything Mellon is saying here is just guesswork. Because you don't see gas or smoke or residue coming out the ass of these things, it doesn't mean they're not toxic. They could be toxic in other ways we don't understand. This is why I don't believe what they're saying when they want disclosure. And they want to back engineer these things. And they want to use it. Why? Why is it taking 80 years? Because two reasons. They don't have the technology at all. And the other reason is they just can't bust it. They can't figure it out. That's it. And everything we see flying around is man-made, whether it be from our adversaries or from real advanced technological beings that are living inside the earth, in the Arctics, in the moon, on the moon, under the ocean, you name it, volcano. Oh, I was going to show the rest of what he said. That's right. In these last 23 seconds here. So first he said, if we could understand, they don't understand the technology, but they want to use this technology to clean up coal and oil and all the other stuff, all that more convenient stuff that we could use for another 100 years. All right, so now watch. And we know that clean energy is bullshit. It takes more of the non-clean energy to make the clean energy. You got to build the factories. I mean, you got to do all that stuff. Oh, this is ridiculous talk. All right, go.
Understand the technology that we're observing. It has so many
Potentially beneficial.
impacts, including
What are the beneficial impacts?
clean energy.
Including clean energy. Do they tell us? No. They never tell us what the other things that they could do with it.
We're seeing these craft.
Everything is just about the optics, seeing these crafts do unbelievable things, which gets you excited to think you're seeing something alien, and then to talk about free energy. All this is a leftist campaign for free energy and clean energy, and we got to get windmills, and we got to get all this other shit that just won't work right now. We just can't do it. It's too expensive. Plus, we're sitting on a mountain of oil. Ridiculous.
Doing unbelievable things, and it's not combustion engineering.
This is technology that could replace oil.
How do you know it can? How do you know? How do you know?
Gas and coal.
They don't know. They don't know. Guys, this is just stuff that we've been saying for the last 70 years. We've been hearing about if we can just back engineer Roswell, well, so far we've got Kevlar and laser and all sorts of shit. No, we don't. That's what we got from Roswell because Roswell is not aliens. And that's my opinion. And I'm puking. Without evidence, this is all hyperbole. All right. Do you guys know about the Sphere network? Yeah. There's a Sphere network now. That's how many there are. That's how many stories they had to come up with a network in action. Now below, here, I'm going to show you, I think there's two groups of type 1 spheres in a V formation, and then two groups equaling two targets. I don't know. Let me take a look. I don't remember what we're looking at here, but let me pull it back up, because I thought the sphere network? Oh my God. Okay, I remember. So a pilot flying 100 miles west of Oakland, California at 43,000 feet recorded multiple high-altitude lights over the Pacific Ocean on November 20th this year, which air traffic control said had no known military action associated with them. Huh. All right, let's take a look at the dots in the sky, because that's all they are. Ready? Here we go. These are the major reports coming in all over.
Oh yeah, there's three.
Yep.
There they are.
Yep.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Clint, you gotta come here. Look. You see them? Oh yeah.
Okay, these are airplanes here. Right here. They were both flashing. On this, I'm not sure if these are Chinese lanterns or
it's like
what.
a perfect
Right? I don't know.
What?
Oh, it went out. So these are Chinese lanterns. These look like airplanes or helicopters watching for whatever reason. Heck, I don't know, man. I mean, you know, when you look at this stuff, you're hoping it is alien technology, but you really don't know, because it's terrible. It's just dots. Now, look, I appreciate this. This is better than nothing, but it's not moving. Let me refresh. But there's just no details.
Clint, you gotta come here.
But it's cool. I mean, it's cool to look at. I saw a flashing light here, which was probably an airplane, which may have dropped flares.
See them? Oh, yeah.
And these look like airplanes or helicopters.
Yeah, what the hell?
Shit.
But then another light appeared
it's like
behind it. Another one's
What?
flashing. This is interesting. I don't know. Some military operation, perhaps, but pretty cool. I'll play it one more time. There's a lot of stuff going on here.
Oh yeah.
So it starts out with lights here, here. But then if you look around these objects, you see other little white lights
Yep.
popping up.
Yep.
Clint, you gotta come here. Look.
Watch up here.
You see them? Oh yeah.
Watch up here. Just appeared.
What?
Now watch here.
Yeah, what the
That
hell?
just appeared.
Oh, it's like a perfect
So what I'm thinking is you've got these airplanes coming in from the distance. When they get close enough, they turn on their landing lights, and we have ones that are closer. But these here,
What?
I don't know. We're going by what the witnesses say, so I don't know if those are flares. But I tell you one thing they did. They gave us 30 seconds of nothing and something. And what bothers me about that is, if it was real, like really good, and it was really sneaky stuff going on, they would have stayed there and recorded a lot more than 28 seconds. So I'm calling BS on that one. I think we're just seeing landing patterns that are uncommon for these people to notice. They're just not, they don't either live there and see that pattern often. All right. Now, David Grush, just to switch gears to the people in the field, that's what we're doing tonight. We're just bing, bang, boom. Walter Kirn, Kirn, and Megan Kelly talked to David Grush about, oh no, wait, what does it say? Walter Kirn and Megan Kelly talk about David Grush and NHI. And it says here, I was texting Grush and said, what can I tell Megan's audience? And Grush said, well, the problem with the aliens is that we care a lot about them, but they don't care a lot about us. Also, some of the craft have fought have fought each other as I waited for the page to appear. You know, is this who I think it is? Okay, listen to this. This is a couple of minutes, but it's interesting. I want you to, we're going to listen to the details of this conversation from Sirius XM with Megyn Kelly and Walter, who looks like the twin of, what was the guy? John Lear. He looks like him. Look at that. Looks like him, doesn't it? All right, listen to this.
Dave Grush is a friend of mine, and he's a source, and I've known him
Terrible thing to admit.
for 3 years. I was texting him in the green room. I said, what can I tell Megan's audience? He said, the problem with the aliens is that we care a lot about them, but they don't care a lot about us.
All right, I wanted to talk about that comment. Why would David Grush say something so incredibly ludicrous? Why is it ludicrous, I ask? Well, I want you to think about it. Think about it. What David Grush said. Seriously, I'm giving you a second to think about it. Why is that a ludicrous thing to say? I talk about it every single night, why that's a ridiculous statement. We care about the aliens more than they care about us. Why is that a ridiculous statement made by Grush? Because you're implying that the aliens made that obvious. We're not talking to the aliens, David Grush, you psychopath. Nobody knows what their intentions are. You cannot keep saying things like they don't care about us, or they're monitoring us, or they must be doing this and they must be. Nobody knows. Not nobody. I said it like that on purpose. Hey, by the way, if you want to help support Truthology for Ufology, all the links are in the show description. You can help support the only show that will tell you things the way they really are. I know there's other people who try and, they're okay, but they don't have the balls to say what I say. And you know it's true, and you need to support that, because someday, some way, they'll get rid of us. And in a way, they almost have. So help support us, and hopefully the algorithm will see the changes that we're trying to come up with, and maybe they'll start loving us again. Thank you for hanging out. Don't forget, at least subscribe, if you're not already. But this guy, I don't like it. That's presumptuous, and you have David Grush has no record of this conversation happening, that, no, the aliens never said. And the only reason he's saying that, it's because they don't show themselves. Like, they won't show themselves when there's a problem. They won't stop a volcano from erupting or quelling a tsunami that's happening. With their technology, they could save thousands of lives, right? All right.
Is that we care a lot about them, but they don't care a lot about us. In other words, we're still exploring this universe. The gorilla was only discovered in the middle of the 19th century. It was a mythical being that they finally discovered in the jungle. They found bodies and so on. I'm convinced, and I hate to tell you this, that Dave is telling the truth, and that against great pressure and great mockery, he's trying to describe our actual world to us. It's a world in which we have not made all the discoveries yet. Now, he often compares them to mountain lions. He says, do you believe in mountain lions? Everybody would say yes, right? How many of you have actually seen one?
I have seen one.
You've seen one?
In Montana.
Okay, well,
Yep. Ugly.
I
So
am
unattractive.
I am convinced.
Guys, yesterday they announced that aliens are here. Right. You would have been, no, they didn't. That's the exact response you would get. If they said, we're disclosing that aliens are legit, and I'll tell you why. It'll get zero play for a while till people see something. They have been crying wolf for years. These new people who came in with TTSA, the Lou Eliganzo era, as some people are calling it. TTSA, Gonzo, whatever you want to call it. And the Tic Tac era, yeah, that's another one. And the whole thing is a psyop. You see it right here. He says, I'm convinced that this isn't a psyop. No, it's a psyop. It's a psyop. Until there's evidence, this is a psyop. Now go ahead and tell me all the evidence that you can collect around the world, and you could put a murderer away if this was a murder trial with the evidence we have for UFOs. No, you cannot. It's mostly circumstantial, and the stuff that has been analyzed and, has molecular makeup and all that shit is also out the window. So we don't have any real evidence. Sorry. Whoa. Man, that was loud, huh? I thought I had that off. But go.
Convinced that this isn't a psyop, that this isn't what conspiracy theorists call Project Blue Beam, an attempt to dazzle us all with a false god that will bring us all under, slavery of some sort of world government. I think that very rarely, but somewhat commonly over the years, going back through human history, we have been visited by beings of other types. It's a big universe, one we barely understand. We're very young. We're going to learn about, I can promise you this, we're going to learn more about this. And in the same interview, he tells you that Donald Trump knows a lot about it. That's my information too. If you know anything about Donald Trump, he will not avoid bragging about what he knows before he...
True.
So I expect him to be the president who tells us what we haven't heard.
He might.
So can you just outline it for us more clearly? What exactly is he telling you they've seen?
They've recovered craft that have crashed. Some of those craft have fought each other. In other words, people say, how could they crash? They come across the universe. Well, we're not so sure they'd come all that far, frankly.
Any distance that's not on Earth is far.
We're not so sure they don't have places nearby to come visit. They're a little bit like
Where? Where would they go? Where they can stop by on the way here? What, there's just a random rock station halfway from here to Andromeda? This guy.
gardeners from the descriptions of the people I've had as sources. They check on the garden every once in a while, but they have their own business. They have their own family fights. They have their own voyages. Now, what he's talking about are actual bodies on the ground. I imagine there's going to be a day where you're going to sit down in front of your television and people who you trust, scientists, politicians, ones who don't necessarily agree with each other on everything, but do agree on something like the truth, will bring forward the evidence. You will be convinced. It will not rock your world if you're a religious person. You can handle it. If you've read the Bible, there are all sorts of creatures in there who aren't explained.
Look at his hand. He just won't stop fidgeting.
If you believe that these are a demonic presence, I don't think they are any more than certain animals are. But, you know, there was a time when we thought we were alone in the universe almost as a planet, that the sun revolved around us and so on. We survived we survived the revelation that it was the other way around. We'll survive this.
We survived the revelation it was the other way around because we have no choice. You know? Where are we going to go? Whoa, right? We can't leave. We can only go underground or underwater. I don't know, man. This guy.
It'll be interesting. Kids will be more interested in science. I think our universe will light up for us again. They've kept it to themselves for, I think, obvious reasons.
Like what? Why? Why keep the secret? Seriously. Because of technologies? Weaponry. It's all about weaponry. And how much money can they make off whatever it is they found, if they found anything at all. I'm one to believe that what we're finding are not crashed UFOs, but, well, they're UFOs, but I believe they're from something within the earth, man. I don't know if they're coming from great distances. If they are, they would have to have, some sort of device that they can just immediately transport over, or they take the 1,000-year ride. And that doesn't make sense to me unless these are robots, cyborgs that can live as long as their machinery works. See, that's what they remind me of. Now we take away the alien factor, even though it's still there in the background, and fill it in with something that might make sense. If they came here and they didn't use this magic technology that can blink in an eye and get here in an instant, unless they're a being that can live thousands of years, these have to be some sort of cyborgs, for lack of a better term, like the Terminator. And I would bet that they would probably put them in hibernation till they got to their destination, so they don't have to worry about the aging process, or the breakdown of mechanics. But if they did have this technology, it would be so far advanced, they wouldn't have an issue, probably. Just like that movie Passengers. Have you ever seen that? It's actually a really fun movie to watch. Yeah. Supposedly these sleep pods, they never break down. They never had an issue with them. Well, in this one case it happened. And every time they tried to do a little research on it, how do you fix this hibernation pod? Hibernation pods have never been, never had an issue in its history. They are non-flawed, I don't know, whatever it is. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, let's continue. Oh, it's over? Yeah, well, that's that on that. I just don't think what he said Grush is saying is true. I don't believe that there's these aliens here. They're alive. I think they're sent here from an alien planet. And maybe it's true when we set off all the bombs and doing all the tests at Area 51. Maybe it did send out a beacon across the galaxy that something's happening on that little blue dot over there, and maybe they did send something over to come check it out. But they would have had to have done it in a way where it only took them a year maybe to travel instantly. It might as well be instantaneously, because how could they have gotten here that fast? Oh, that's right. They're interdimensional beings. I forgot. See? Now you lost me. How can you say that? How can you not believe that they could actually be interdimensional beings? It's hard to believe. But that's the only thing that would make sense. they could go from A to B really quick or very quickly. Got to put the ly on the end of that because it's an adverb. It's describing something in action. An adjective is also an ly at the end of the word. Beautifully, homely. You're describing something or someone. Just so you know. Anyway, let's get on to the next interesting story here. Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. Let's see. I don't know about this. Gary Nolan asked about Klaus's claims of being groomed to push narratives online. God, this is what everybody talks about, man. Everybody's now talking about false narratives. We've been talking about it for years. Now they're just catching up to us. Gary Nolan asked about Klaus's claims of being groomed to push narratives online. I believe Gary Nolan was groomed. I don't know by whom, but he was. And Greer helped get him in the door with the CIA because of his invention, creation, whatever. You know the story. Here's what Gary Nolan says. Hold on. Guys, I don't deal with chat room on purpose. I've mentioned this a million times. If I can do the chat room and the show at the same time, I would do both, but I can't. So, I can't answer questions I don't see, and if I don't see them, and that's that. So, I don't see anything here that tells me there's a question. And I don't interrupt the show to do that stuff, answer questions. It's not that type of podcast. I'm giving the information out. If you want to give me information, give it to me before. I just can't break wind and stop everything, for something I don't know what you're sending me. You understand? And I don't know who it is. I don't know who's sending. So I'm sorry if you're the one that I'm denying that question about, but I'm not in that zone, man. It's not what I do. See? Now you got me all fucked up. So I'm looking at the message now from Be the Whole Cookie Crumb, Not a Crumb. And that's funny. I tried looking it up to find it, and I can't see it. Richie, I wanted to come tell you that you were talked about in a big channel yesterday I'm in, and high compliments to you and what you do. Yeah. How come I didn't see any subscriptions from that? No views, nothing? That doesn't... and what show? If it was a big show, I would have had at least once a new subscriber. See, this is what I don't understand. Hey, there he is, or she. Thank you. Hey, Brian. The answer to the question is maybe. For 5 years, I have been trying. Let me tell you something. If you do a podcast, right, and you're doing your stuff, you got it all lined up to talk about, and you give information out to the public, Are you going to stop everything you're doing, what you planned, to talk about something that may or may not be a part of what you're doing? And then, because the way my brain works, now I have to get back and remember what I was talking about and still keep the flow going. Do you know how many times I've tried this? Countless. I just can't do it. So what I do is, when I'm talking and doing the show, and I forgot tonight, after each topic, I'm supposed to go and see what you guys are talking about. And if I see any questions, I'll answer them. But even if there are questions, I may not answer them. They may not be a part of what I'm doing. So I'm just saying, try not to get mad, but that was a good comment. And that's one I'd like to know. And what show was it? We don't have that, do we? No. No, it's not that you were. It's just the way I was interrupted. Okay? I'm not going to say how. Wasn't you. It was a message that came through when I'm doing the show telling me about it. I appreciate the effort, but I like to let it go its natural course. If I see it, I see it. And I tell you what, if I missed it, I would have messaged you anyway, because I look at the chats the next day and see what people talked about. So I would have messaged you, it would have been a little late, and I would have thanked you for that comment. No problem. It's just, I have a way of doing things, and I can't go off the script that I have, or else the show will suck worse than it does already. I actually think we put on a good product here. But, you know, some people don't, and they're just here to be assholes. So that's another thing. Some people like to throw me off knowing that I'm not good at answering questions in the chat room. But I really like to know what show it was that they were talking highly about me, since nobody ever does. Shame. All right, let me get back to where I was. I think I found it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. So Gary Nolan was asked about Klaus's claims of being groomed to push narratives online. Oh, by the way, thank you for the $2 much love super chat. Mucho gusto generoso. I think that's the first one tonight. So, and thank you. Appreciate that love, man. And no, you didn't intrude at all. You did not at all. Not at all. Thank you for the support. Appreciate it. So somebody asked Gary Nolan, and I always find this interesting. What is your opinion on why he feels he was used, groomed to push a specific narrative? I don't think he's posting just for clicks or reach. So Gary Nolan says this. Oh my God, I hate this. I hate Gary Nolan. I'm just so tired of it all. Tired of it. Have I asked people to speak up? Sure. Who doesn't? If that's narrative control, then so be it. What? How could that be narrative control if you're asking people to speak up? That's not narrative control. Who? Poor Gary Nolan. People reach out to me all the time to help. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. When Dan Farah asks me to tweet about his movie, is that narrative control too? No, not at all. I don't think so. When David Grush's information was about to be leaked, I reached out to several people to prepare them for it. That's what friends do for friends. I was infuriated his medical information was leaked. And he says, I once, 2 years or so ago, vouched for Klaus to be part of a signal group that had the likes of Jacques Vallée, Hal Puthoff, etc., so he could hear things directly rather than filtered through me. I was trying to bring someone who at the time seemed to have their finger on the pulse up to speed. Now, if that's not transparency, I don't know what else to do. He was eventually booted from the group for non-participation. How stupid! God, these guys are so sensitive. Unbelievable. What is this? Dave Scott? What is this? Sold Out Radio? There are signal chats of the big names in ufology that pass around lists of podcasts you should go on and the ones you shouldn't go on. I got very creeped out the closer I got to a lot of these people. I felt like as soon as I was given the slightest foot inside that door, that there were a bunch of really bizarre loyalty tests and weird favors being asked. They want you to declare yourself, and they want you to know they can control what you say. Kelly Chase on Spaced Out Radio. Let's hear what Sold Out Radio is talking about.
I know for a fact, because people have said it, like big names in the field have said it, more than one person and more than once. I know that there are, like, in the signal chats of like the big names in ufology, that they literally pass around lists of like, here's the podcast you should go on and the ones you shouldn't go on. Yep. And that there are people who are very invested in who, like, kind of laying down the rules for that, which I think is disgusting personally. You know, and I think it's a very weird situation, but I think that the people I know who are the most educated on these topics, who have the most questions to ask, they're not necessarily getting the interviews that they want to get. And, you know, my star rose quickly, and I had some opportunities early on, and I will say that, like, I got very creeped out the closer I got to a lot of these people. I felt like as soon as I was sort of like given like the slightest foot inside the door, that there were a bunch of like really bizarre like loyalty tests and like weird favors being asked, and just like they want you to declare yourself, and they want to know that they can count on you, and they want to know that they can control what you say. And
there's a backstabber. Here's one right here.
I don't play that game, so I didn't last there very long.
Typical. She talks so much shit about Dave Scott, and she's still sucking his fucking coattails.
Well, I could tell you this, that happened to me as well. And it's happened to a number of people that I have talked to who thought they were on the inside, thought they were all buddy.
And they're not. And they just used us. That's what they do. They want to know what the other side's doing, so they fake friend you, act like your buddy. For a while, this is what the Fist did with us. Acted like he was my friend just to see how much I hated Lou Eliganzo because he was sucking his dick. And sorry, Dorothy and those, but it's true. That's what those guys do. And that's how they get off on each other. It's all sexual favors and party favors. Those guys, yeah. Oh, I'm saying it now. Yeah, I believe that's what happens in their in the Fists Club of homoologists. You think they know what a UFO is? They don't even know what a woman is, guys. How could they know what a UFO is? And why are we even entertaining people like them who were never in ufology for the truth? They were in it to disrupt us. They were in it to disinfo us. They were in it to lie. That's why they're friends with Lou Eliganzo. Because that's what Lou brought to ufology. Disinformation, lies, deceit, backstabbing, everything wrong with ufology is Lou Eleganzo. And he should be banned from ufology. But no, little homos like the Fist and Heatherly and all those other girls, they suck up to him so much. They give him all the, the praise and the glory and the clout that he needs. He gets his fill from them, believe me. Front and back door. I guarantee it, Lou's a fucking homo. Say it with my right hand on the Bible, too. I feel it. I know one when I see it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I don't like the fake facade. Getting married, having kids, acting like you like women. When all along he's a closeted homo in the ufology field. That's Lou Eleganzo. In my opinion. Because what other guy would hang out with a bunch of homos every night talking about UFOs and trying to get back at the people who are doing the good in this field? And you don't like the way I speak? Get the fuck out of here. I don't care. I don't care. YouTube's already heard us enough for being truthful. Because they listen to the lies. Because they're part of the lies. Nobody wants the truth. And that's all Lou Eleganzo brings to this field is a disruption. He's nothing but disinfo. The disinfo homo. That's Lou Eleganzo. That'll be tomorrow's title. Disinfo homo of ufology. No, I think I will. If I remember, I'll make that the thumbnail. I don't care. I hate him. After what Lou did to Dave Scott. And I'm not, friends with Dave anymore. But I respect the fight of not giving up and not quitting and to keep going through all Dave had to go through too. I'm sure I know for a fact he got the shadow ban too, because his numbers are down just like ours. Almost identical in percentage. I've watched Dave from day one. He and I were, on like the same path of success to failure. He was doing a little better, bigger audience, trying, interviews every night. Real fun show. But my God, he was not rewarded for the effort either. And that's because of Lou. When Lou came in, it ruined everything. Because what they did, they complained so hard to YouTube that they actually listened to Lou because of who he is. Now, you don't know, this guy is saying these things, Of course they're going to put the kibosh on us. Hey, views too. Or the views the second. Spitting straight facts. I'm trying. It's how I feel anyway. It's what I see. It's what I'm familiar with. I know the look. I know what they do. I know all about that side of reality. And Lou is part of that world. Homology. Good for him. I don't care. You like the pole smoke? Go for it. I don't care. It's not my gig. But I think it's his. And they even talk about doing a circle jerk around the dream. Remember that dream they had? They said that Lou and 5 of his friends, they stood in a circle around the bed of this guy right? They did the remote viewing on a terrorist and scared him in his sleep. I heard it was a circle jerk. And they cream pied the guy. And he woke up and he couldn't breathe. If you don't know what cream pie is, look it up. That's what Lou did. In his dream. In the dream. Cream pie Lou. Thanks, views. Cream pie Lou. Am I hitting a little too close? Some of you guys out there? Too bad. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. That's just the way I am. I'm not changing. Yeah. I've been under the weather for 4.5 years. I finally am starting to feel healthy again. So maybe I'm just feeling my oats and I'm feeling like I've been too quiet for too long. I see things that other people don't see. I'm sorry for that. It's just who I am. If you don't see it that way, you don't. I don't care. I think it's fun. I think these guys are ruining ufology, and it's fun to point it out. Tell me anything positive that Lou has done for ufology. You can't. So stop it. Tell me anything positive that the Fist did for ufology, that Heatherly did for... None of those guys did anything. None of those guys have UFO sightings. None of those guys are poltergeist or spiritual experts who go ghost hunting or do any research like that. They are nobody, nothing, who sit behind a computer and tell everybody they're wrong, because that's what the left does in ufology. Everything they say is due to guesswork. They weren't out there like we were, like I was. They don't have boots on the ground experience in haunted homes and following strange lights. None of them. None of them can hold a candle to what many of us researchers did and still do. Not one of them. They are the scumbags. They are the armpit of ufology, and I can't say it enough. Disclosure tonight is poison to ufology. Rob Heatherly, Lou Eleganzo, The Fist, Thomas Fessler, and anybody else on that group over there. Circle jerk machines. Can't take them seriously. All they do is bring disinfo to the UFO field. And I can't see how anybody can trust a word they say. They don't bring any evidence to the field. They don't know how to research. They don't know what it's like to even be out in the field with a camera, a tripod, and all sorts of other equipment. They don't know what they're talking about when it comes to UFO videos. When it comes to anything that has to do with any evidence, they are the bottom of the barrel when it comes to knowing what to look for. And everything that they are accepting or promoting comes from a guy named Lou Eleganzo. The biggest disinfo dick in ufology. And dick sucker. They are gross. No, they're disgusting. No, they make this field sick. And a lot of people say, oh, I don't like what... You know who says that they don't like me? The people who are on that side of ufology. Oh, we don't like how you talk about people. You cut people down. Who am I cutting down? How could you care about those people? They're lying to us. Why do you care what I say about them? You should be thanking me for bringing it to light. I could say it differently, but I'm sorry. That's how I feel. It's how I speak. I can't grow up. I try. Everybody talks about these people as being the worst in this field. And yet there they are, getting all the praise and accolades that none of them earned. Not one is a UFO researcher. So, Michael Salla, I don't love him or hate him, whatever. The guy knows a lot of shit. I don't trust him. I think he's 50-50 on things he tells us, so whatever. But here, he says Walter Kim is president of the National Association of Evangelicals and states he personally knows David Grush and that he is telling the truth about crashed UFOs, retrieval ops, visitation of non-human intelligence, etc. And then Kim says humans have nothing to fear from ETs and that they and that they are not demonic. Oh my God, how could that not be the opposite of everything we hear? Wait, don't you see how confusing this is now? Are they demonic? Tucker Carlson was saying they are. Why would we listen to Tucker Carlson anyway? I don't. I just repeat what I hear. Check this out. Let's listen to Walter Kim again. This guy's getting all the media play this week.
I was texting him in the green room. I said, what can I tell Megan's audience? He said, the problem with the aliens.
I played this already.
We care a lot about them, but they don't care a lot about us.
This is a different version of it.
In other words, we're still exploring this universe. The gorilla was only discovered in the middle of the 19th century. It was a mythical being that they finally discovered in the jungle.
Maybe not.
They found bodies and so on. I'm convinced, and I hate to tell you this, that Dave is telling the truth, and that against great pressure and great mockery, he's trying to describe our actual world to us. It's a world in which we have not made all the discoveries yet. Now, he often compares them to mountain lions. He says, do you believe in mountain lions? Everybody would say yes, right? How many of you have actually seen one?
I have seen one.
You've seen one?
In Montana.
Okay, well.
Yep. Ugly.
I am convinced that this isn't a psyop, that this isn't what conspiracy theorists call Project Blue Beam, an attempt to dazzle us all with a false god that will bring us all under, slavery of some sort of world government. I think that very rarely, but somewhat commonly over the years, going back through human history, we have been visited by beings of other types. It's a big universe, one we barely understand. We're very young. We're going to learn about, I can promise you this, we're going to learn more about this. And in the same interview, he tells you that Donald Trump knows a lot about it. That's my information too. If you know anything about Donald Trump, he will not avoid bragging about what he knows before he... So I expect him to be the president who tells us what we haven't heard.
So can you just outline it for us more clearly? What exactly is he telling you they've seen?
They've recovered craft that have crashed. Some of those craft have fought each other. In other words, people say, how could they crash? They come across the universe. Well, we're not so sure they'd come all that far, frankly. We're not so sure they don't have places nearby to come visit. They're a little bit like gardeners from the descriptions of the people I've had as sources. They check on the garden every once in a while, but they have their own business. They have their own family fights. They have their own voyages. Now, what he's talking about are actual bodies on the ground. I imagine there's going to be a day where you're going to sit down in front of your television and people who you trust, scientists, politicians, ones who don't necessarily agree with each other on everything, but do agree on something like the truth, will bring forward the evidence. You will be convinced. It will not rock your world if you're a religious person. You can handle it. If you've read the Bible, there are all sorts of creatures in there who aren't explained. If you believe that these are a demonic presence, I don't think they are any more than certain animals are. But there was a time when we thought we were alone in the universe almost as a planet, that the sun revolved around us and so on. But we survived the revelation that it was the other way around. We'll survive this. It'll be interesting. Kids will be more interested in science. I think our universe will light up for us again.
I may have played that. Not that whole thing, though. The first half of it. I like what he said, but it's what we've been hearing for decades and decades and decades. And, it's not that... It's just hard to believe. I just... that they're traveling here thousands of light years. Da, 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 da. There's so many issues with this. I don't know what to believe. All I know is this. Not everybody's lying. Not every story is disinformation or misinformation. Out of all of the stories, there's a small percentage that are legit. I like the Pascagoula abduction. You know, that to me was legit. It really happened to those guys. What was their names again? I always forget. Walter, I don't know. But very good case. You know, I like Betty and Barney Hill, but I don't like it. I don't know. Betty and Barney Hill was ahead of their time as far as evidence and mind melding with aliens and getting downloaded information about a star system. All that was really wild stuff. I wish I was around for that, like an adult. I would have loved to have covered that story. Well, that was like the first one ever. That. And can you imagine like a black and white couple in the throes of America's most racial history at that point, right? In the late 60s? And they come out and talk about being a married biracial couple who was abducted by aliens, and they survived all of the public scrutiny and the hate they got and the love they got. And it opened up a lot of doors for people, black and white. What really is amazing about that story is they didn't get that much shit for being an interracial couple. They did. Nothing, they didn't get hurt. They didn't have anything set on fire, nothing like that. But there were letters they got and angry people saying, they're lying and all that. And the Ku Klux Klan was mad at them. And they survived and became literally the barometer we use to figure out if somebody's telling the truth. I don't think it's a good barometer anymore. I think we should put all of these people who have claims like theirs on the lie detector machine and go from there. I don't care if the lie detector machine isn't 100%. You can get a good read off of people on that lie detector machine, especially if they're being legit. If they're trying to trick the machine, they could come across as lying, but that means you're tricking the machine. You're lying, so it defeats the purpose. Why even take the test if you're going to try to cheat it? You won't win. So, did you, I can't believe what I'm reading. From Holden Kulata. Have you ever heard of this person? Says, what is going on? Are we in bizarro world? Dr. Greer just alleged that ETs are not angels and demons, but they're all real. I don't deny angels exist or demons. Who's that? That's Greer. That is not the same as a trans-dimensional interstellar spacecraft with extra biological entities on it. Oh, he's right. He's right. It's not the same. I was at the Vatican with Pope John Paul Sr., theologian, Monsignor Balducci. He was actually a demonologist. He said, neither angels nor demons require flying saucers. And he knew about lower dimensions, higher dimensions, celestial. But what I think the intelligence community does is deliberately obfuscate the issue so that people with the religious perspective, which is fine, like Tucker Carlson, or J.D. Vance or Luna utilize their religious paradigm to confuse them on the nature of what's going on with the UFOs. Bullshit. Well, maybe not. The problem is that that's a little bit of shorthand for they're from another dimension. They're not human. And from certain religious perspectives, it means they're demonic, and therefore we need to have a holy war. This is the essence of demagoguery. Listen to this as Greer lays it all out on the line in a stellar interview with a podcaster. I have no idea who. In 3, 2,
community does. And
hey. Oh, it's Ravenclaw.
A big part of this is understanding the cosmos. Because if you don't understand this cosmology, you're not going to know what's what out there. You're not going to know whether it's a man-made UFO, an interstellar UFO, ET craft that's trans-dimensional, or if it's some other phenomenon that's from another dimension, which exists. All right. So there are things that are from other dimensions that can pop into this, and have an effect in this. This is like poltergeist, right? Or
Right.
other phenomenon, which I have observed as an emergency doctor quite up close and personally. But that's not the same as a trans-dimensional interstellar spacecraft with people on it. Now, anyone with a scintilla of education should know this. I hate to be blunt. And when I was at the Vatican with Pope John Paul's senior theologian, Monsignor Balducci, and he was actually a demonologist, which I didn't even know such a thing existed. I wasn't raised in that tradition. And he said very flat out, and it was very hilarious. He said, neither angels nor demons require flying saucers. He put it so simply. And he knew what he was talking about. He knew about the whole thing of lower dimensions, higher dimensions, celestial, and we had these beautiful conversations about.
Wait a minute. I have to interrupt here. So let me ask everybody. My whole life, I have never heard anybody ever bring up the correlation between demons and UFOs. Let me rephrase that. It's true, but I also never heard anybody ever use demons or angels in reference with UFOs, flying them, using them, traveling inside a machine. It was never, ever, ever brought up. So that comment that demons and angels don't need a UFO should be true. But do we know for sure? Do we really know? And the answer is no. We don't know 100%, but we have to go by what makes the most sense. Occam's razor. Because without proof, you have to use the simplest explanation most of the time, because that's usually the right one. And in this case, we don't have any evidence angels and demons use UFOs. So I am going to say, even without proof, that they don't. I'll buy that demons and angels don't use UFOs. So then you have to answer this question. Can they? I mean, because a lot of people believe that they are aliens, but they're demons. So you can't have it both ways. See, this is a problem. Bringing religion in to ufology, it has to happen. It has to be talked about, because we have seen too many miracles, too many images in all of the artwork, not all, but you know what I mean, all through history. We've seen strange images of black and white spheres and tubular objects in what seems like a war. And then we have, the one with the dog and the man going, oh, what's that up there? And the laser coming down, and, the Mary and the Joseph and then all that, the whole thing. We've seen it throughout history. That's good to know. And my whole day tomorrow's ruined. I just got a message at this hour that somebody's coming by tomorrow morning to clean a stained tub I have here. You know, can he come out? Is it okay if he comes out? I have plans. No, he can't come out. Sorry. I have to let them know. Anyway, I love it. He'll be out tomorrow. Well, nobody told me. Can't tell me at 8:30. Hey, it's 8:20, which means it's 4:20 somewhere. Enjoy yourselves. But we're living in a strange time, my friends. I say it every week. Strange times.
This. But what I think the intelligence community does, and particularly people like Jim Semivan and Jacques Vallée and others, is that they deliberately conflate and confuse, obfuscate this issue so that people with a religious perspective, which is fine, like Tucker Carlson or J.D. Vance or Miss Luna, they're going to utilize their religious paradigm to confuse them on the nature of what's going on with UFOs. And that is what we see happening. And I've been seeing this happen since the early 90s to now. The problem is that's a little bit of shorthand for they're from another dimension, they're not human. And from a religious point of view, certain religious perspectives, it means they're demonic, and therefore we need to have a holy war to kill them. So this is how you get into a space age holy war.
Before he tells us about that, what? What? How? How? What? How? No. How do we fight a holy war? God. You need a priest. You need a dozen priests. You need a lot of holy water the size of the Nile. You can't do it against these creature demons. You just can't win. Nobody ever has. That's why we have 6 new civilizations, 5, what is it, 5 extinction level events over the last million thousand years. It's going to happen again. And they're going to say, oh, it's a natural thing. No, they're going to call in. That's right. They're going to call in an interstellar object to destroy the Earth. Here, just hit us. What if Oumuamua hit us? What if 3I hit us? 3I Atlas. That would be devastating. Maybe they're lining it up. Have you thought about that? Maybe they're lining up an interstellar object to impact Earth, and they're just missing. Food for thought. Scary stuff going on. We have no idea. And maybe this is why Avi Loeb is talking shit. Maybe he knows something we don't know. Maybe, just throwing it out there, guys. Maybe NASA or secret government talked to Avi Loeb and said, look, you're a Harvard professor, smartest guy in the country when it comes to knowing shit in space. We're going to go with you. We have a feeling there's an intelligent object that might be heading towards Earth. And it's going to be looking like a rock. Where do we get that information? I can't disclose it to you, but let me tell you this. NHI. Okay? It's NHI. That's all I can tell you. I can't tell you any more, but they're aliens. So let me get this straight. You want me to tell all the world that 3I Atlas could be a mothership? Yes. Okay, I'll do it. For $1 trillion. What? Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe they're just, they got their space rocket. Right? Interstellar objects heading right for Earth. Oh, looks like Saturn and Jupiter threw that one off course. Oumuamua. Right? There it goes. I know they didn't name them before they shot him. 3 eyes. They drop it in the thing. You know they drop it. You never know. I think those objects are meant to be doomsday devices. All they have to do is hit the Earth at 154 kilometers per second. That's it. Done. 10-mile wide object? Forget about it. The one that killed the dinosaurs was only 6 miles? 6 miles? How big was the dinosaur? Was it 1 mile? How big was the extinction dinosaur? How big was the dinosaur? What is it? Asteroid size. Let's see if it tells me. Wasn't it a mile? Oh my God. Yeah, I was right. 7 miles. 6.2 to 9.3 miles wide. That's the size of a Manhattan. That's the size of a Muamua. Scary. Hey, and it's getting close to Earth in 2 weeks. December 12th, yeah? Or the 16th, somewhere in there. We'll keep an eye out. That's it for tonight, my peeps. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate the support. Can you please subscribe if you haven't? Please. Thank you. I really appreciate everybody, the moderators, the super chatters, the newcomers, and the veterans. Thanks for making this chat room an excitable one. Appreciate the niceness. Okay? Yeah, that's how we do. And we'll be back tomorrow. And then Thanksgiving, we'll do a special show. And then maybe I'll take Friday off because there might be football on again. And I don't know. I want to miss it. But anyway, thanks for hanging out. And we'll leave you out of here with the rest of the intro. Goof On. What is the name of that song? Goof On We Rock. At Goof On We Rock. We do. We roll. We tell you the truth. Thank you, everybody. Did I miss something? Who said that? Let me see. There is no PayPal. No. Oh. No. All right, here we go. And thanks, everybody. Hey, look. If you ain't looking up, you ain't looking out for ufology. Keep your eyes on the sky. Every now and then you might get something in your eye. See what I did there? Stupid. I know. I'm immature. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Giddy up. Alien blessed.
Galactic rims tear through the air. Leather jackets, cosmic flare. Their green hands shred the strats so tight. We melt faces all through the
Oh.